Welcome back to Indian Trace. Yeah, these are definitely something that you can win, have, free. And let me tell you the backstory to it all. Many people who know Indian Trace know that I will tend to do these kind of things. The video you saw before this where I was doing inventory, I'm done. That's a hard thing to do. If you have a full collection and you sort of try to rate your pieces, look at this little piece, because you're going to get a look at some of the points that you can definitely have today. I'm going to tell you, if some people say, well, how do I get them? How do I get them? I say, did you listen to the video? These artifacts to me are so good that I'm going to make the competition more difficult. If you don't want them, you don't have to have them. If you want them, you can have them. I did an inventory and I wanted to do a little bit of clean out and giveaway, and I'll do it. Here's the primary reason. Because you can't outgive God. If I give these, and I've given many before, then I'll get more, and I'll get better, and God will see to it. And that's the way it works. Now let's take a look at these. Oh, before I do that, I want to do a shout out. A little bit of a book review. This is an incredible book right here. I've been into it 3-4 chapters and I already know. I mean, the book was written in 1868, 100 years before I was born. 1868. It's been reprinted. It's a good binding leather in a reprint, so I was able to get it used real easy. They do these classic series, but the original manuscript hasn't been changed, and I love reading writing that is early writing, written in 1868. So it was accurate in terms of the lifestyle and the people that this gentleman was living with. And I read a lot, I try to. And I guess I'd like to say I'm hard to impress. But that book is extremely impressive if you want a really great read and you want to understand the tail end of the race that you and I like to talk about, the North American Indian. Of course, these predate them by a considerable amount. We're going to take a look at those. How do you win these right here that you're looking at? Well, I decided I would film my question, my entry question. And you can pause your screen, you can reread it. You can pause your screen and you can even Google the sentences. I don't care how you enter. I don't care what you say. But I then will subjectively read all the responses and I'll just go ahead and pick a winner. Simple as that. And get these down and off to you or up to you or wherever to you it is. It's fine with me. But here it is. I'm going to read it and you can pause the screen. I just want you to hear it as I have asked the question. And the question is pretty straightforward, but hugely important. Is it important to have a full spectrum of contributing thoughts and ideas for a free society? You answer this question. Yes or no? And then bringing you back to school a little bit, why? Why is it important or why is it not important to have a full spectrum of contributing thoughts and ideas for a free society? And if you don't want a free society, you can tell me why. Simple. That's the virtue of the First Amendment. That's the virtue of a free society, believe it or not. There was some deep truth in that. Now, also, what happens without freedom of speech in a society? Why all that? And you can pause it and check that question out for yourself as I look through these. Why all that? Because when I did my inventory, I decided they just touched my heart. I love them. They were in my collection, but I want to get them out. I want to sow some seed, and I know I can't sow seed that will not grow. That's just the way life, a law in this life works. Whatsoever you sow, you're going to reap. And it works that way. Let's go in this direction. I've got a great piece right here. Very balanced, very nice looking point that's going to go into it. Then the opportunity is for this piece of crystal. And it is awesome quality crystal quartz. Very nice. arrowhead. Give you a better exposure right through my hands. And I never know how it's coming in just looking through everything, but I do my best to show it. Another great piece. This is from W Properties. This is a nice rhyolite point from the Falcon. Point from Hidden Hill. And it's worked off the backside. So either they weren't finished or they had it the way they needed it to use. Hidden Hill. And I'll go ahead and label them because that was a serious and difficult question. If somebody doesn't want these artifacts, that's fine. That's fine. And I've also had those questions put out there. It's funny. And then somebody just makes a comment or a response and they say, I want those artifacts. And then I write them back and say, that's nice. Enter. And you know, I don't know if it's a younger person, a millennial. They just think that we are going to be anything less than fair, or subjective, and that we can just pick and choose. No, for me, you know, you just lay out the rules, and it's like the rules of law in this nation. It's time that somebody put their foot down on them and make sure that our elected officials have equal justice under the law. Now, if it was a few infractions like Watergate, then they'd be prosecuted still. In Watergate, they were. But the infractions now are horribly, disgustingly deeper than Watergate in that scandal. Disgustingly. So the rule of law must pay. It must come through. And it is. So the first video here today, that QAnon interview will give you some great insight onto the good news of what's really happening behind the scenes. This one, remember the book? Great book. Remember the question? You can pull it up again. If I can just give you a good view of this. And here's what any of you can have if you like them. Simple as that. Hope you find out there. Thanks for tuning in.